Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use the Ordinary Retinol 0.5% in Squalane, which is an anti-aging serum as well as is a leave-on product, which means that once you have applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now I want to put this video into categories so that you can get the most out of it, and I'm going to leave the timestamps in the description box down below, so if you just want to check out a specific part, you just need to click on it. However, if you're being completely new to retinol, I highly recommend watching the entire video, because this can help you to understand how you can work with it while at the same time reduce the likelihood of experiencing irritation, which is more likely to occur when working with higher strength of retinol, and especially in the very beginning. And so that's the thing that we are trying to reduce, yet at the same time we wanted to improve certain skin concerns. So this video is based on my current knowledge as well as my overall experience. However, feel free to adjust it. And if you should have any additional questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below, and I'm happy to help you if I can. Now, the Ordinary Retinol in Squalane is an anti-aging serum, and it's important to only use it in your evening skincare routine, since retinol is sensitive to sunlight. And so to make sure that you're getting most out of the product, as it may lose its efficacy when being in contact with sunlight, it's best to just use it in the evening. At the same time, once you have opened the bottle, please make sure to, after that, place it at a cool and dark place. So this can be your fridge, which would be ideal. However, if you have a cool and dark place in your house as well, then it's fine to just leave it there, because when storing it somewhere where it's getting hot, and again the sunlight may be there as well, it can lose its efficacy. And at the same time, it is important to emphasize that please do not use retinol or retinoid products in general when being pregnant or currently breastfeeding. Now I want to go over what retinol does. So overall, it is an anti-aging serum that can help you to improve fine lines and wrinkles, surface hyperpigmentation, dullness, as well as textured skin. And it does this by speeding up the cell turnover so that the dead skin cells that are sitting on top of the skin surface can let go of the skin faster, while the newer and healthier skin cells over time can help you to improve those specific concerns. Now, it is a treatment, not a cure, which means that if you have certain skin concerns, it can help you to improve it, but it's not going to be gone forever. And so I just want to give you like a quick example so that you have a better understanding of what I mean by that. So let's say in average, your skin usually takes about 28 days to exfoliate itself, to let go of the dead skin cells and bring the new skin cells forward. Well, while adding a retinol product to your skincare routine, it can help you to do this a bit faster. So instead of waiting for those 28 days to happen, it's only going to take about, let's say, 23 days. So and over time, this can really help you to loosen the dead skin cells faster, so that you then have a bit more of a healthier, more even and youthful appearance over time. And this can be especially important since as we age, the natural exfoliation process can slow down, so it's more likely that those dead skin cells are sitting on the skin surface, which then are creating the skin concerns of textured skin, of dullness, and fine lines and wrinkles, so that you have a better understanding of what retinol can do for you. Now, this brings me now to a frequency guide, because it is important to adjust the frequency accordingly to the strength of retinol that you're using, as well as your overall needs, because signs of irritations can occur when being new to retinol and when using it too often too quickly in the very beginning. And so those signs of irritations would be, for example, redness, stinging or burning, or like a sunburn feeling, or extremely dryness, which then again, if the signs of irritation with redness and stinging or burning are going to be mixed, it can become quite uncomfortable. And so this is what we are trying to avoid, since retinol at the same time can also be used on all skin types, and it can be beneficial for oilier skin types since it can make the skin less oily. But if you have a drier skin type, it is important to balance the rest of your skincare routine as well, because if more dryness occurs, it's best to work with hydrating and moisturizing products along with it to balance it out. So there you have already an idea of how you can work with it depending on your skin type. When it comes to the frequency, since we're working with a mid-strength of retinol, when it comes to the Ordinary Retinol products, since they have different strength, they have have the 0.2, 0.5, and then the 1%. So the 0.5 is the mid-strength, even though it's still actually a higher strength. So in that specific case, if you're being new to retinol in general, my best advice would be start off slowly by just using it 2 to 3 times per week, for example on Monday and Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This may depend on your age as well. So if you're being younger, you may just want to start off by using it 2 times per week. If you're being older, you may be able to already work with it like 3 times per week. But start off slowly, take your time when getting into the frequency, because retinol can have a delayed response, which means that if you now say, well, I'm going to immediately use it daily in my evening skincare routine, signs of irritation may not happen right away. This can happen like 3 to 4 days later. So if you're going to immediately use it in the beginning every day for an entire week, the next week it's more likely that you will come across those signs of irritation and they can be more severe. So therefore, by adjusting the frequency over time and starting off by using it 2 to 3 times per week at first for, let's say, about a month, so that you can see how it's going. If 3 times per week is going to be a bit too much for you and you can already feel like a sunburnt feeling, reduce it by just using it 2 times per week. If you feel like 3 times per week works really well for you, then keep on going. If you can already see some improvements, there's no need to use it more often if that's already fine for you. However, if you say, well, I want to use it more often and I feel like my skin is ready for the next jump, then after about a month you can move up to using it every other day. So you're going to use it on Monday, leave a day out on Tuesday, then again use it on Wednesday, leave a day out on Thursday, etc. Then again, do this for some time before thinking of using it daily in your evening skincare routine. Since over time, not only the frequency does play a big role when it comes to the signs of irritation, but the overall strength as well. So if you're being completely new to retinol and this is the first product that you're going to start using as an anti-aging serum, then again, I recommend to take your time with it. If at the end you still feel like after, let's say, 2 to 3 months, you cannot figure out a frequency that's working well for you, because it doesn't matter on how less often you're going to use it, you're always going to end up with irritation, then it's not about the frequency, but overall the strength. And in that case, I recommend starting off with a lower percentage of retinol and then over time maybe add up to a higher percentage if your skin is ready for it. So it's not only about the frequency, but the percentage of how much retinol is being used does play a big role as well, so keep this in mind when getting started. This now, however, brings me to an example skincare routine so that you can see the order of application. And so I have prepared for you them in PowerPoint slides so that you can see them visually. The example products that I have chosen are just examples. Those can be replaced with whatever your product you may have at home, as long as it's working well for your overall skin type and needs. But I want to keep my main focus on the ordinary products, of course, so that you have an understanding of the order of application, because in that specific case the formulation plays a big role, since they have water-based serums, anhydrous solutions, oils, moisturizer, and there the order of application does matter as well. And most of my example routines, of course, are evening skincare routines. However, I do want to get into a morning routine as well, so that you know what's important to do, which is sun protection. So when it comes to an overall evening skincare routine, you can keep it very simple. You just can wash your face with a gentle cleanser, use your retinol, and then moisturizer if needed. So you can really keep it very simple and just keep the focus on your retinol serum. However, if you now say, well, you may have another treatment at home, or maybe an hydrating and soothing toner at home, then it's fine to add it to your skincare routine, but then of course you need to adjust the order of application. So let's say you have other treatments at home. Well, then you would at first wash your face with a gentle cleanser, use your water-based serums at first, since the retinol is an anhydrous solution. So use at first your water-based serums, such as, for example, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, or maybe the caffeine solution, which is an eye serum, so use that one at first. After you have done that specific application, then move on to your retinol serum, and then after that you may want to finish off with a moisturizer. You can finish off with an oil and a moisturizer as well, but the retinol in Squalane is already a bit oilier, so I'm not really sure if the combination feels that great on the skin. At least for me, I just prefer to finish with a moisturizer, since then otherwise it becomes too oily. But again, it's fine to use an additional oil afterwards works if you should feel the need. So this would be one example. However, if you now say, well, I have a hydrating and soothing toner at home, well then, just wash your face again with a gentle cleanser, use the hydrating and soothing toner, then maybe add other treatments like water-based serums to your skincare routine, and then move on to your retinol and then your oil and or moisturizer. So there you have some examples when it comes to the order of application. But then once you are done with your evening skincare routine, you're just going to bed. In the evening, there's no sun protection needed. But then the next day when waking up, what's important to do is 2 steps, which are like the main focus. And this is washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. You may be able to use other treatments in between. If that's your usual morning skincare routine, go ahead and add those. But then don't forget to follow with sun protection. Either moisturizer that already contains SPF or regular sunscreen, so that you can protect the skin, since based on how retinol works, it can make the newer and healthier skin cells more sensitive to the sun, which then can easily lead to a sunburn when being exposed to the sun. Therefore, don't forget to use sun protection during daytime when being exposed to the sun. And so this would be an example of a morning skincare routine. Now, before you are now jumping right into your evening skincare routine and use your retinol zone with other treatments, I do want to get into the avoid list, because there are certain combinations that can lead to irritation, which may not happen right away, but depending on how often you're going to do this and depending on your skin tolerance, this really can lead to stinging or burning or like extremely redness, which can become quite uncomfortable. And the first question that I always see is, can I use exfoliating acids with my retinol? Well, they do not conflict with one another, so technically yes, but the risk of experiencing irritation, since both kind of exfoliate the skin, is more likely to happen. And so therefore, when working with, for example, exfoliating acid cleansers, such as, for example, salicylic acid cleansers, and they include more like about 2% of salicylic acid, my best advice would be keeping them separate. Use them in the morning and then in the evening a gentle cleanser with your retinol. When it comes to leave-on exfoliating acid products, that the same thing would apply. Keep them separate, and since both are then you are going to use your leave-on exfoliant as well as your retinol, which is also a leave-on product. In that specific case, when being new to it, I recommend avoid using leave-on exfoliating products at all during the first month until you figure out how your skin is doing with your retinol, and then you can slowly add it to your routine, but use it on alternate days when not using your retinol. So either use the exfoliant in the morning and your retinol in the evening, or use both in the evening, which is what I would recommend, since both can make the skin sensitive to the sun, and then alternate between your exfoliant and your retinol. But then again, you need to adjust the frequency accordingly to your needs. And the same would apply to exfoliating acid mask. Please keep them separate, do not use them together. Then another point would be strong vitamin C products, such as, for example, the Ordinary vitamin C suspensions. Think about more than 15% or let's say 20% of vitamin C. This can often lead to irritation, especially due to the percentage as well as low pH they usually have. So that the vitamin C is effective. So therefore, keep them separate, alternate between them in your evening skincare routine if you want to use both, because otherwise it may lead to sensitivity. And then one other point would be avoid using other retinol or retinoids in the same routine with the Ordinary Retinol in Squalane, since again it can influence the strength as well as is then more likely to create sensitivity, like overall irritation. And the last point is one, it's not really a conflict, it's kind of like the same thing would apply with that one, is like signs of sensitivity, like irritation, and this would be the Ordinary buffet copper peptides. Please keep them separate. So that you're going to use, for example, your buffet copper peptides in the morning and your retinol in the evening. And so those would be the entire list of what you should avoid. Now, when it comes to the other products that I haven't mentioned, if you're looking specifically into the Ordinary products, like their peptides or some of the other water-based serums or their oils, so you're fine to use them in the same routine with your retinol. I'm going to put the list on right here. Those are the products that are fine to be used in the same routine with your retinol product, so that you're making sure that you have a better understanding of what can work well together as well as what's best to avoid. And again, if you find those examples helpful, you can download them in the description box down below. This now, however, brings me to the entire application. And so when it comes to the application, I'm going to keep my focus, of course, of an evening skincare routine. And so we're going to get started with the first step, which is washing your face using a suitable and gentle cleanser for your skin type and needs. Meaning, if you have a drier skin type, look for a cleanser that's great for dry skin. If you have an oilier skin type, look for a cleanser that's great for oily skin. I have two examples right here from CeraVe, the hydrating cleanser or foaming cleanser. Those are just two examples. If you have a different one that's working well for you, go ahead and use that one. Just make sure to read on the back of the packaging on how you should use your cleanser so that you know how you can properly use it to wash your face. In this case, it's best to use it on wet skin. So the first step that I'm going to do is now wetting my face and neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water, and then I'm going to apply the cleanser onto wet skin. So let's go ahead and do this. Then use about 1 to 2 pumps, so about a coin-size amount of your cleanser in the palm of your hand. Rub your hands together and then gently massage it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. Also make sure to read on the back of the packaging if you can use your cleanser around the eyes or if you should avoid it. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes. And if that's the case, rinse it immediately with water. So, and once you have massaged it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute, you can go ahead and again rinse it off with lukewarm water to warm water by either just using your hands or use a fresh and soft washcloth in between, which can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better in case you feel like there's still some residue left. So, and now go ahead and take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So once you have pat the skin dry, you can immediately move on to the next step. There's no need to wait in between. The next step can already be the application of the Ordinary Retinol in Squalane. Use between 3 to 6 drops for your face and neck. Apply it all over and leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. However, if you do have an hydrating and soothing toner at home and or water-based serums that can be used along with the Ordinary Retinol, then go ahead and add them. Now, when it comes to hydrating and soothing toner, please do not confuse it with exfoliating acid toners, such as the Ordinary Glycolic Acid 7% toning solution. That one is a leave-on exfoliant and it can lead to irritation when using it in the same routine. So if you have really an hydrating and soothing toner at home, use it after your cleansing step, but before your water-based serums or even the retinol in Squalane. And then apply it either with the palm of your hands or cotton pad all over. You're going to leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. However, when it comes to their water-based serums, if you have a water-based serum at home and it's not from the Ordinary line, but based on the ingredients it can be used alone, then go ahead and use it before applying the Ordinary Retinol in Squalane. However, if you're not going to keep the focus mainly on the Ordinary products, then here you can see an entire list of what water-based serums can be used before you're going to apply the retinol in Squalane. When working with a thicker texture serum, use between 2 to 3 drops for your face and neck. If you have a more watery serum, use between 5 to 8 drops. Start off with the lower, like 5 drops, and then see how this goes before adding more to it, so that you can evenly apply it all over your face and neck. When it comes to the current list that I have shared with you, please always check on the Ordinary website if there are any changes or maybe new products so that you can adjust it accordingly and again reduce the likelihood of experiencing any irritation or potentially conflicting products. And so I do want to give you an example, such as using the Ordinary Niacinamide serum as my example of a water-based serum. That one has a thicker texture, so in this case I'm going to use between 2 to 3 drops for my face and neck. When it comes to the overall application, you can do this with the palm of your hands, fingertips, or immediately use drops on your face. Whatever application method works the best for you, go ahead and do so. There's no right or wrong. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes, and please do not use it on top of your eyelids. So, and once you have applied your hydrating and soothing toner and or water-based serum to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And by the way, I highly recommend always checking out the directions of your specific treatment that you want to use beforehand or afterwards to make sure that you know how you can properly apply it and what areas you have to avoid or being careful with, because this can change depending on the treatment that you're using. So, but after that, once you have applied your toner and or serum, you can then move on to the Ordinary Retinol in Squalane. That one is an anhydrous solutions, that's why it should be applied after your water-based serums. And so when using it, use between 3 to 6 drops for your face and neck. Now it has an oilier texture, so I recommend starting off with a little bit less, and then if you still should feel the need, add a couple of drops more, so that you find the right amount of product that you're going to use for your face and neck. When working with a retinol product, please do not use it on top of your eyelids, please do not get it into your eyes, please do not get it into your mouth, and please be careful around the actual lip, because this can often very easily lead to a sunburn feeling because this part is quite sensitive. The same would apply to the corner of your eyes, as well as when getting it too close to the actual lower lash line. Those are some areas that are a bit more sensitive, such as also around the nose. I recommend being careful with it. When it comes to the eye contour, you can use retinol on the eye contour, this part right here. However, the strength does matter as well. So if you feel like it's fine for you to use 0.5% in Squalane on the eye contour, go ahead and do so. However, if some slightly signs of irritation or sunburn feeling occurs, give your skin a break on that specific area, so that you're going to then use it less often, for example on the eye contour, as you would use it over your face and neck, so that you have an idea of what to look for and that you're not going to end up with an uncomfortable feeling. So then rub your hands together, or again, as already mentioned earlier, you can also just use it with your fingertips or use the drops immediately all over your face and then start blending it onto the skin. So, and once you have applied the retinol all over your face and neck, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, depending on your skin type and overall needs, you can stop right here, that's fine, and basically use the serum on its own. You do not have to follow with a moisturizer afterwards. However, if you have a drier skin type, or for example you have used it on the eye contour, I recommend working with a moisturizer as well, so that first of all you can balance the dryness with your skin type and the retinol, but at the same time, if you're not using a moisturizer afterwards, depending on your skin type, but you have used it on the eye contour, then at least use a moisturizer or hydrating eye cream on this specific part right here, so that again it can help you to reduce the likelihood of experiencing dryness or overall irritation, which can become quite uncomfortable. So this would be just a tip on how you can adjust it. However, as an example, I have the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors right here. This is a great moisturizer for all skin types. Use any moisturizer you like. If you have a different one at home, go ahead and use yours that you have at home. Use about a pea-size amount and then apply it evenly all over your face and neck. About that much, more or less. If you have a drier skin type, you may want to use a bit more so that you can adjust it accordingly to your needs. And then blend it all over, and if you want to keep the focus mainly on the eye contour as well, well then use it nicely on the eye contour where you have applied your retinol. So, and once you have applied your moisturizer all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And this would be an example of an evening skincare routine. Now remember, again, the next day when being exposed to the sun protection is important. Retinol itself does not make the skin sensitive to the sun, but based on what it does to the skin, your new and healthy skin cells become more visible, and those are the ones that are sensitive to the sun because they can easily be sunburned. And so therefore, sun protection during daytime is important. And so if you want to see a specific guide on how much sunscreen you need to use and see the entire application, I have a specific video for you in the top right corner which you can check out. But if you now want want to know more about certain skincare products and want to see the application, I have so many videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to leave some of them at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching. I do hope that you find this video helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you did so, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye!